Know the top stories of the day. Understand the issues that matter. This is Manila Bulletin News on Web. Your quick rundown of top news in the country and around the world. Manila Bulletin, celebrating 120 years of timely stories and timeless truths. Be fully informed. Hi, I'm Barbie Atienza. This is MB Now, and here are your news on web. The current spike in coronavirus disease cases in the country is becoming serious as the number of patients being admitted in hospitals is increasing, according to an official of the Philippine College of Physicians. PCP Vice President Dr. Maricar Limpin said the hospitals are being congested, the emergency room, the hospital beds, all COVID, and they are also catering to non-COVID cases. However, Dr. Limpin said that healthcare workers are now more prepared in responding to the pandemic as compared to last year. They are still worried due to a lot of healthcare workers who are also getting sick and that they might not be able to sustain what they are doing right now. Limpin expressed hope that the country will be able to contain this increase in COVID-19 cases as soon as possible. Department of Health Undersecretary Leopoldo Vega said that the healthcare utilization rate in the country is still at low risk. However, the healthcare utilization rate in the National Capital Region is now at moderate risk. The 2-week unified curfew imposed in Metro Manila might not be enough to curb the spread of COVID-19, according to Octa Research Group. Octa Research Fellow Dr. Guido David said on a radio interview that the government can further extend the implementation of the current interventions being imposed to slow down the spread of the coronavirus. However, the expert said it's safer to wait for data first before deciding on what steps to take next. Metro Manila mayors implemented a 2-week curfew from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. in the National Capital Region last March 15. The Octa Research had earlier warned that the country might reach 10,000 to 11,000 daily cases by end of March, given its current reproduction rate of 2.03. Presidential spokesman Harry Roque maintained that the ICC has no jurisdiction over the Philippines since it was no longer a member of the international body. Roque issued a statement after welcoming the latest SC decision. Roque likewise opposed any ICC meddling in the country's affairs, citing uncontroverted proof that domestic legal and judicial processes are functioning normally in the country. The Supreme Court has dismissed a petition that sought to invalidate the president's withdrawal from the ICC back in 2018. The court ruled that the judiciary has enough powers to protect human rights, contrary to speculations raised by the petitioners. Roque also said that the latest High Court ruling, which is decided on mootness, acknowledges that the president is indeed the chief architect of the country's foreign policy. The 2022 national local elections would push through as scheduled, Malacanang said after rejecting the proposed establishment of a revolutionary government supposedly to be led by President Duterte. Presidential spokesman Harry Roque assured the nation that the country's next president would be elected next year. Duterte, elected with a promise to combat illegal drugs and corruption in 2016, will end his 6-year term on June 30, 2022. A group of the president's supporters earlier launched a movement seeking the establishment of a revolutionary government with Duterte at the helm. Such form of government will supposedly hasten the shift to federalism. The formal proposal was reportedly submitted to the palace recently.
The president po is de jure constitutional government at hindi niya kinakailangan ng revolutionary government. Elections will be held as scheduled in 2022 and there will be a new president come June 30 of 2022.
Warm and humid weather will prevail throughout the country due to the dominant warm easterly winds coming from the Pacific Ocean. The Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical and Astronomical Services Administration, or PAG-ASA, said on Wednesday, March 17. The dominant weather system across the country will be the easterlies or warm winds from the Pacific Ocean. PAG-ASA said there is a minimal probability of a low-pressure area or tropical depression forming inside the country's area of responsibility this week. The northeast monsoon or amihan will likely return next week, which may affect Luzon and the eastern portion of the Visayas. In the next 24 hours, the whole country can expect partly cloudy to cloudy skies with isolated rain showers or thunderstorms due to the easterlies. However, PAG-ASA advised the public against possible floods or landslides during severe thunderstorm activity, which usually occurs in the afternoon or in the evening. In Metro News, Pasay City enforces tough measures in arresting curfew violators. Parañaque's Legislative Building under lockdown after several employees contract COVID-19. And Quezon City government places 26 areas under lockdown. More from this report.
The Pasay City Police intensified their efforts in arresting violators of the curfew hours and the basic health protocols to prevent the spread of coronavirus disease. In a report, Pasay City Police Chief Colonel Cesar Padayos told Mayor Amy Calixto Rubiano that they have already arrested 448 curfew violators since March 12 or in less than 3 days. Padayos noted that most of those arrested claimed that they merely went out of their houses to buy something, while others said they did not know that the new and earlier curfew hours are being observed. Rubiano said those who will be arrested for violating the curfew hours for their first time will be recorded in the blotters of the barangay where they were apprehended. For the second offense, they will be fined 3,000 pesos. For the third offense, they will be fined 5,000 pesos. The Parañaque City's Legislative Building has been placed under lockdown from Tuesday, March 16 until March 21 after several employees tested positive for the COVID-19. City Administrator Attorney Ding Soriano confirmed. Located in the Legislative Building are the Office of the Vice Mayor, City Council Secretary, City Council Offices, Technical Working Group, Barangay Operations Office, and SK Federation. Soriano has yet to disclose the number of the positive cases but mentioned that the multiple tested positive for the disease. City Health Office Head Dr. Olga Vertucio said that containment and disinfection activities will be conducted. The number of areas which have been placed under special concern lockdown due to rising cases of COVID-19 infections in Quezon City is already at 26 as of Tuesday, the local government said. On March 19, there were only 12 areas under lockdown. The number rose as Mayor Joy Belmonte recently said the city's current COVID situation is already serious and alarming. On the other hand, the city's Department of Public Order and Safety said a total of 819 individuals were apprehended by the city personnel and police for violating the curfew hours of 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. The local government said they were issued a citation ticket worth 1,000 pesos for the first offense, 2,000 for the second, and 5,000 for the third.
Here are the top news in other parts of the country. No votes win in Palawan plebiscite. First marker on historic 1521 expedition unveiled in Suluan Island. And 5 BIFF members yield in Maguindanao. Here are the details.
The people of Palawan have spoken, with 172,304 no votes against the 122,223 yes votes. It has rejected the proposed division of Palawan into 3 provinces. The Provincial Board of Canvassers proclaimed the result of the plebiscite on Tuesday, March 16. Based on the statement of votes by a municipality, the no votes won in 19 municipalities and only 3 municipalities voted yes to the division of Palawan. Meanwhile, Palawan Governor Jose Chavez Alvarez expressed his belief Palaweños may have squandered an opportunity to become a progressive province, but he said he accepts it as it was the Palaweños' decision. The National Historical Commission of the Philippines and the National Quincentennial Committee unveiled on Tuesday, March 16, the first of the 34 historical markers along the route of the first circumnavigation in the Philippines. The Suluan Quincentennial marker in Suluan Island, Giwan, Eastern Samar was unveiled to mark the 500th anniversary of the first circumnavigation of the world on March 16, 1521. The event also coincides with the arrival of the Spanish Navy training ship Juan Sebastian Elcano in the Philippine waters. The vessel is named after the captain of the Armada de Maluco, also known as the Magellan Elcano Expedition, which completed the first circumnavigation of the world. The 34 historical markers will be unveiled in the Visayas, Palawan, and Mindanao between March 16 to October 28 this year as part of the quincentennial celebrations. 5 demoralized members of the outlawed Bangsamoro Islamic Freedom Fighters or BIFF yielded to authorities in Ampatuan, Maguindanao, the military reported on Wednesday. The 5 surrenderies belong to the group of Commander Copra under the BIFF Carialan faction operating in the peripheries of the province. The surrenderies also yielded 3 sniper rifles, an M16 rifle, an M14 rifle, and an M79 grenade launcher. In an interview, the surrenderies said that they grew tired of fighting and want to live normal lives. They would also like to see their families and see their children grow without fear of anything.
And in world news, Asian Americans in the U.S. report nearly 3,800 hate-related incidents within the year, according to a report. China to issue visas to foreigners who have taken Chinese jab. And Mars' missing water is buried beneath surface according to a study. Let's watch this report.
Asian Americans in the United States reported nearly 3,800 hate-related incidents in less than a year during the COVID-19 pandemic, according to a report released Tuesday by the Stop Asian American Pacific Islander Hate from March 19, 2020 to February 28 this year. The reporting center received a total of 3,795 incidents of anti-Asian racism nationwide. Types of discrimination range from verbal harassment, shunning, physical assault, online harassment to civil rights violations. U.S. President Joe Biden condemns what he calls vicious hate crimes committed against Asian Americans since the start of the coronavirus pandemic, calling such acts un-American.
Vicious hate crimes against Asian Americans who've been attacked, harassed, blamed, and scapegoated. At this very moment, so many of them are fellow Americans. They're on the front lines of this pandemic trying to save lives. And still, they're forced to live in fear for their lives just walking down streets in America. It's wrong, it's un-American, and it must stop.
China is poised to ease border restrictions to allow some foreigners, including from the US, India, and Pakistan, back in, provided they have taken a Chinese-made COVID-19 vaccine. The country has been closed to most foreigners since last March to stem the spread of coronavirus, which has largely brought under consulate home, stranding many foreigners with jobs and family inside China overseas. But Chinese embassies in several countries have issued notices saying the country will open visa applications to select people who have taken a China-made jab. This would apply from this week to those visiting the Chinese mainland for work resumption, business travel, or for humanitarian needs such as reuniting with family members. Billions of years ago, Mars was home to lakes and oceans, but where all the water went to transform the planet into desolate rock, we know today has been something of a mystery. Most of it was thought to have been lost to space, but a new study funded by NASA proposed that it didn't go anywhere, but it's trapped within minerals in the crusts. Early Mars was thought to have enough water to cover the whole planet in roughly 100 to 1,500 meters of ocean. Because the planet lost its magnetic field early in its history, its atmosphere was progressively stripped away, and it was assumed this is how Mars lost its water.
In entertainment, K-pop girl group Blackpink member Rosé's debut solo album R has sold nearly 283,000 copies on the first day of release. According to Korea's Hanteo chart, Rosé's R recorded 282,674 copies in physical album sales and topped the daily album chart on the first day of release on March 16. R contains 2 songs, On the Ground and Gone, in which Rosé also participated as a songwriter. YG Entertainment also reported that On the Ground topped iTunes top song charts in 51 different countries and regions. In sports, Antipolo City could play host to the PBA's 46th season, which now has a new target date of April 18, as a surge in COVID-19 cases continue to dim the chances of holding games in Metro Manila. PBA Commissioner Willie Marshall said he is in ongoing talks with former Rizal Governor June Ynares regarding the possibility of staging the games at the Ynares Center, one of the Pro League's regular venues during the pre-pandemic times. Marshall acknowledged that opening the new season in the NCR has a very remote chance, with the country experiencing an increase in COVID-19 infections in recent days. Metro Manila remains under general community quarantine, which prohibits the PBA from staging the games in the capital. Rizal, on the other hand, is under a looser modified general community quarantine, or MGCQ, that allows sporting events like the PBA to be held. The league will also need the approval of concerned agencies like the Interagency Task Force for the games to push through, regardless if it's in Metro Manila or in nearby provinces. In today's episode of Tech Talk, our Manila Bulletin Tech News Editor Art Samaniego shows us a device that can turn any TV into a smart TV, making it possible to watch from different online streaming platforms. Let's watch this.
Having a smart TV has now become a basic necessity. But what if you want your ordinary TV turned into a smart TV? Today, we will show you a gadget that turns any ordinary TV into a smart one. Hi, I'm Art Samaniego, and welcome to Tech Talk. This is the Xiaomi Mi TV Stick, a tiny device that looks like a typical USB thumb drive that makes any TV into a smart TV. It comes with an HDMI cable extension, power cable with power brick, and a Bluetooth remote control powered by two AAA batteries. All you have to do is connect it to your TV's HDMI port, plug it to a power source, and follow the instructions on screen. Of course, you have to have your Google account ready so that you can maximize all its features. It runs on Android 9 operating system, so you are sure that it will stream movies perfectly. And since it runs on Android OS, you have access to a lot of applications in the Google Play Store. Apart from that, you have Reduce Smart Cast so that you can seamlessly cast videos from your phone. Its remote has a dedicated button for Netflix and Amazon Prime, and of course for Google Assistant. This portable streaming media player is a practical gadget for anyone who wants to turn any TV into a smart TV. Now anyone can enjoy streaming movies and series anywhere at an affordable price. And that is Tech Talk this week. Join us again next week for more tech updates. This is Art Samaniego and this is Tech Talk. Be fully informed.
Small, affordable, and user-friendly. A gadget perfect for upgrading your ordinary TV without breaking the bank. And those are the news on web today, March 17, 2021. For more news and details, get your copy of Manila Bulletin newspaper tomorrow or log on to www.mb.com.ph. You may also subscribe to our newsletter through the link in this video's caption to have the day's latest news delivered to your inbox. I am Barbie Atienza from Manila Bulletin. Join us again tomorrow. This has been MB Now. Be fully informed.